What happens when a first time Canon user goes straight in at the deep end? I've got the Canon EOS R5 Mark II and 3 stunning RF L series lenses. 24-70 f2.8 L IS USM, the 70-200 f2.8 L IS USM, and finally the 100-500 f4.5 to 7.1 L IS USM, all sitting right here waiting to be unboxed. Is this the ultimate hybrid photography and video kit? Well, there's only one way to find out. I'm John and welcome to Chairview Chronicles Life in Motions. Well, I'm John and welcome to Chairview Chronicles Life in Motion. So let's jump straight in. I want to start this video with something I don't say lightly. Canon have supplied me with the EOS R5 Mark II and a set of lenses for this series. And put to the disclaimers. Now, Canon have provided me with the R5 Mark II, the body, the lenses and the accessories for this series. And I want to be completely transparent about that before we go any further. I've not accepted any payment for this or anything at all. They've just supplied me with the gear. That is the entirety of their involvement, apart from when I've messaged them just to clarify that I've got the settings correct and the specs correct, so I don't want to give something out that is false. So the only time they've had any input is when I've asked for clarification on a certain spec or certain settings, that type of thing. They've not had to approve any of the scripts, no review of the content before it goes live, and no influence on my opinions, positive or negative. Everything that you hear from me across this series is my own honest experience with the equipment. If something impresses me, I'll tell you why. If something frustrates me or doesn't perform the way I'd expect it to, I'll tell you that too. I've built Chairview Chronicles on authenticity. That's not something I'm willing to compromise for any brand partnership. Right, now let's open some boxes. Right, now that we've got that on the record, let's talk about what's actually in front of me. Because honestly, the way this kit arrived stopped me in my tracks before I'd even touched the camera. I've received gear from brands before. Usually it arrives in cardboard, in its usual boxes, bubble wrap, and then all like crushed up paper and stuff, and then a box within a box. This did not arrive like that. Canon sent this kit in hard protective cases, proper cases. Can't you buy separately to protect the thousands of pounds of glass on a professional shoot? I never had gear arrive like this from any brand, not once. And I want to show you this before anything else because it sets the tone for everything that follows. Look at that. Every piece of kit has its own foam cut slot, camera body, lenses, everything secured and protected. This is how a professional filmmaker transports gear to a remote location. This is not how brands typically ship a lone camera to a content creator. I don't know if this is a standard Canon practice or if someone at Canon EMEA made a decision, but it made one hell of an impression. And you'll know from this channel that I call things as I see them. So, what is the Canon EOS R5 Mark II? Let me walk you through what you're actually getting, because the spec sheet on this camera is genuinely absolutely impressive. To the sensor, it's a 45 megapixel full frame stacked CMOS sensor. The word stack matters here. It's not just a standard full-frame chip. A stack sensor has the processing circuitry built directly behind the imaging layer, which dramatically reduces the time it takes to read the data off the sensor. That's what enables everything else I'm about to tell you. Autofocus. Dual-pixel CMOS autofocus 2, up to 1053 autofocus zones, covering virtually the entire frame. Subject detection for people, animals, vehicles, and within people detection, it tracks eyes, faces, and bodies. The system uses an AI accelerator chip for processing. In practical terms, it is fast, it is confident, and it very rarely lets go of what it's tracking. Speed. You can get up to 30 frames per second in the electronic shutter mode and 12 frames per second in the mechanical. At 45 megapixels, shooting 30 frames means this camera is processing an enormous amount of data continuously, and it handles it without breaking a sweat. Video. It can shoot 8K RAW internal recording up to 60 frames per second. 4K up to 120 frames per second, and shoots in Canon Log 2 and Canon Log 3 for flat graded footage. This is a camera that crosses cleanly between stills and video without compromising either, which as someone who does both matters enormously with me. So to the stabilization, it can achieve up to 8 stops of embodied image stabilization. IBIS is combined with Canon's IS lenses. Coordinating IS system pushes that further, handheld shooting at shutter speeds that would have required a tripod on previous bodies. The body is weather-sealed magnesium alloy construction, dual card slots. One of them is a CFX Type B and the other is an SD UHS 2 with USB charging. Built-in GPS, 3.2 very angled touchscreen, EVF reading at 5.76 million dots, and the battery life is rated at approximately around about 320 shots per charge. So in practice with IBIS and autofocus active, probably carry a spare, which I do have. Now the body itself is substantial. It's not a small camera in the hand, and it's confident. There's a deep grip, well-placed controls, and button layout will be familiar if you've used any recent Canon mirrorless bodies. Me, operating this from a wheelchair, the ergonomics matter. The joystick for the autofocus, point selection, the quick control dial, the touchscreen, all reachable and responsive. Now the feature I want to spend some real time on in this episode, custom shooting mode. The R5 Mark II has 3 custom mode slots, C1, C2 and C3. Each one lets you save a complete camera configuration, every setting, every parameter, every autofocus behavior, and recall the whole lot with a single dial turn. For someone who shoots across multiple genres, this is transformative, and I don't want to be navigating menus mid-shoot. I want to pick up the camera, turn the dial and be ready. So here's how I set mine up and why. For C1, it's wildlife. The goal, obviously, is maximum subject acquisition speed, high burst rate, deep buffer, confident tracking of fast and unpredictable movements. Custom setting 2 is for street and architecture. The goal of balanced autofocus with subject detection for street moments, but clean and precise for static architectural subject, silent operation in public spaces. And custom 3, landscape. The goal, maximum image quality, precise exposure control, tripod-optimised workflow, and long exposure capability. Genres. So that's episode 1. The kit arrived. I show you what was in those cases. I'll walk you through the spec sheet and up to 3 custom modes that I'll be using for the rest of the series. Episode 2 is in Liverpool. Gonna shoot the Liver buildings, the River Mersey, the Albert Dock, and the R5 Mark II is doing street and architectural work with the Corkin NX filter kit and the Benrose Tortoise 24 CVL tripod for the long exposure of the River Mersey. So if this has been useful, please do hit that subscribe and notification bell to be notified when the next episode drops in this series. And please do subscribe, as it goes a long way in helping this channel grow and reach people with disabilities. And I want to show everyone, whether you're able-bodied or you are disabled, the camera settings, the different setups for different genres, and I want to inspire people. So please do hit that subscribe button, tell your friends, family, spread the word please, and send them my way. Hopefully that I can help people to get into photography, because I tell you, it doesn't half help with your mental health. It is my therapy, and I'll link to the video in the bottom of how photography has helped with my depression and from breaking me back in 2019, and I'll restore it from there. Well, like I said, please do leave a comment in the section below and let me know what you want to see from the rest of the series, and I'll see you in episode 2.